Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. For those of you who don't know me, which I'm going to guess is the vast majority of you all, my name's Lockie. I'm a photographer and videographer based in the northwest of England. I apologise in advance, I'm just coming off having a cold, so my voice sounds a bit funny, so you'll just have to bear with me today. Today's going to be a very quick video. I'm going to share 3 of the biggest mistakes that I wish I could go back and avoid doing. I've been doing photography professionally for about 2 years now, but only recently made the jump into video work. With that being a fairly new industry for me, I've had the absolute pleasure of fucking up in a whole heap of new ways that I didn't even know were possible. So today I'm going to try and make sure you don't make the same mistakes that I do. Now you're probably wondering what this 20-something-year-old with a camera could ever teach you about being a freelance creative or running a creative business. But if there's anyone to teach you about making mistakes, it's this guy right here. I have fucked up so many times in the past, it's unbelievable. If I could get a degree in it, I'd have first class with honours, hands down. Not only that, but when I was first starting out, I wish there was someone who was making videos like this, who was just coming into the industry. A lot of the videos that I found were from people who started their career 5 years, 10 years in the past, and it's completely shifted since then. Video and photo are a super saturated market at the moment, and competition, whether you like it or not, is tougher than ever when it comes to winning clients, retaining clients, and building new business. So without further ado, let's get into the first mistake that I made, and it's revolving around your sales approach and sales calls. Now, as someone who loves his camera, loves film, loves photo, I'm a massive nerd when it comes to this stuff. I think any camera that's been released in the past 10 years, I could tell you the specs of inside and out. The dynamic range, recording formats, frame rates for both photo and video. I'm like a walking computer for all things nerd when it comes to cameras. So it was a very big shock to the system when I found out that clients really couldn't give a shit. My initial approach to these sales calls was to talk about how fantastic the tech I was using was, how amazing the images were, how great the video was, and how that was going to help them. However, it turns out that most clients do not care about the specs of your camera. When clients hire a photographer or videographer, it's assumed that they're going to be using up-to-date industry standard equipment. I don't think I've ever booked an Uber and had the Uber driver explain to me that, yeah, their car's really good and it gets them from A to B and it actually drives. It's assumed that that's going to be part of the service. If you're a professional driver, you have a car that works. And if you're a professional photographer or videographer, you have a camera that works and meets the needs of the project as well. I want you to imagine a scenario for me. You're a business owner and you have to choose between 2 content creators to come and shoot a campaign for your business. The first one spends 15 minutes of their sales call talking about the dynamic range of their camera, the updated color science, and the fact that they just got a new firmware update that gives them the Big 6 menu and it streamlines their workflow and all of this bollocks that really doesn't make a difference to the actual output of the videos and photos. And the second content creator spends that 15 minutes on the sales call talking about how projects they've worked on in the past has generated more leads, more sales, got more engagement on people's pages, and highlights how their services have directly impacted businesses in the past. Now, who do you think realistically that business owner is going to lean more towards? Is it the nerd who spent 15-20 minutes geeking out over cameras, which they don't fully understand? It's not for the client to know exactly how these cameras work. Or do you think they're going to lean more towards the person who gave them facts and actionable data that shows that their services have had impacts on business just like theirs in the past? And now it seems like a no contest, but back in the day I would have thought that being super knowledgeable about cameras and the equipment is what won over clients' favor, but it's really not the case. These people are business owners, they are business savvy, and bottom line, they want to know how the money that they spend on you is going to directly impact their business and drive more revenue, leads, and sales to them. Which brings me on to the second mistake that I made, which was not knowing my numbers. Whether you're doing cold outreach or prepping for meetings or even doing proposals to clients that you want to work with, knowing your numbers and your metrics is key to positioning yourself as a key opinion leader and someone who's authoritative within the space. Now, when I say knowing your numbers, I mean having a bank of data which reflects how the work that you've done in the past has impacted different businesses. Now, you can use many different metrics for this. For example, engagement. You can show potential clients exactly how many likes, follows, shares the content that you created got for a different brand. Bonus points if it's within the same niche, but a lot of the skills that you learn from creating content for small businesses, which we all start with, is transferable to a lot of different different niches and subcategories. Now, if you've had the opportunity in the past to run paid ad campaigns, which I personally don't do myself, if you can get some data on leads generated, sales, revenue, this is all fantastic information to have when it comes to talking to prospective clients. This completely takes the focus away from you being a cost to the business and being an investment. If you can prove to the business owner, the head of marketing, whoever it is that you're talking to, if you can show them that the money they're going to spend on you will clearly translate to more leads, sales, and overall revenue, it becomes such an easy sell. Business savvy people won't have an issue spending money, so long as that money seems more like an investment than it does just throwing it into a black hole. Now, I know a lot of you who are early in your career probably aren't going to have this bank of data for companies that you've shopped for in the past, and that's absolutely fine. I didn't have one. I probably still don't have a very good one set up, maybe more for photography, but not really for video. So something you can use instead of key metrics and KPIs are testimonials. If you are literally just starting out in the photo and video space and you don't have any portfolio or any testimonials to lean on, it's not a problem. I'm sure that within your network there is a friend or a family member who's having an event, maybe runs their own small business, or will need media for something. Offer your services for free, which I know a lot of people don't recommend, but with how saturated the market is today, it's a great way to get a leg up. In return, you ask them to write you a glowing testimonial that you can then present to clients to show that you are a trustworthy person and you have delivered good work in the past. And the third and final mistake that I made is going to sound really weird to say, but I was being too professional. Before I went into photo and video, I worked in sales and hospitality. For both of those jobs, your professional demeanor is really, really important. And it was so hard for me to make that shift from being this person in a suit and tie, knocking on doors, doing door-to-door sales, to then being myself and being the creative person that I wanted to be. I think the saying that people buy from people they like is really, really true. And being authentically yourself is one of the best ways to build connections, not only with business owners, but with other creative people as well. Now, if you couldn't tell by this guy who's got a snotty nose, a raggedy t-shirt, and is in his trackies, I'm not the most professional person ever. It's taken a lot for me in terms of a mindset shift to go from being this sales associate or hospitality worker who always had to be so professional and so polite, to then being this person who only represents myself and nobody else. And I know at first it's quite daunting and difficult when you're talking to business owners and higher-up executives to be relaxed and be unapologetically yourself, but it helps you so much in the long run. If you can build genuine friendships and connections with the people that you work for, not only are they going to come to you for repeat business whenever they can, but you're also going to be the first name that they give to someone as a recommendation. Being someone who's personable, a joy to work with, and doesn't take things too seriously and can kind of roll with the punches when it comes to both photo and video work. Because as we all know, nothing ever goes as we planned when it comes to the creative industry. But if you're someone who can just take these challenges in your stride, maintain a positive attitude, and just overall be someone who everyone else in the business is happy to work with, then that is going to do a lot more for you than you think. So that wraps up the 3 biggest mistakes that I have made as someone branching out into video work after doing photography for a while. If you feel like I've missed anything, then just whack them down in the comments. And if you've enjoyed the video today, then please consider subscribing. Thank you very much. Catch you in the next one.